Welcome back, everyone. Well, one thing I can tell you about firsthand is that Glens Falls is a wonderful cultural hub. A couple of very, very strong museums there. And my guest today is the executive director of the Chapman Museum, Tim Weidner. Welcome, Tim.
It's great to be here.
Great to have you here. I was just doing a little math in my head. You and I met many, many years ago when we were putting together the documentary for the city of Glens Falls, and we were going through a lot of the archives at the museum to find source material. And you were very helpful. And, the museum really represents so many unique aspects of the culture and the history of Glens Falls and the surrounding community. And this is a particularly interesting year because it's an anniversary, right?
Yeah, we're celebrating 50 years since we were founded in 1965.
Oh, you did the math. That's good.
Yeah.
And just to recap a bit about that, the museum was founded 50 years ago. I believe the home was a privately owned home at the time, the Chapman House, right?
It was. Initially, one of the founders of the organization called for a meeting. They held it at Crandall Library. People that would be interested in forming a history museum for the community. And they had a turnout of like 75 people, really nice sized turnout. And within the next couple of years, they took that initial meeting and they formed an organization, elected officers, got their 501c3 status from the IRS, got their charter from the New York State Education Department. And Juliet Chapman, who was an individual in the community interested in local history, she was interested in moving on to other things, and she ended up giving her house, which is our current museum, to the organization for life use to be the museum.
So the house itself is a historical building. That had to be built in the late 1800s, right?
1860s.
That's a beautiful example of that style home from that era. And of course, that was a booming time in Glens Falls too. Remember?
I don't remember myself, but
I was just going to say, didn't I see you there on the streets at that time?
I've been there a while, but not that much. Not long.
Speaking of which, you've been the executive director, and we have to do the math again, but in late 90s, right?
Yeah, 17 years now.
Oh my God! All right, you've seen many things move in and out of the exhibit. Many people contribute things to the collections and stuff like that. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but there's got to be a couple of things that sort of stick out in your mind over the years that people have donated or you've had to go retrieve or get out of a barn or something.
Well, yeah, there's one that is probably the biggest example. Several years ago, I received a call from a gentleman in Minnesota. And he said, I have this Joubert and White buckboard that I've restored, and he used it in, to drive. He used it actually with team of horses, and his own health had deteriorated to the point that he no longer could do that. So he was looking for a home for this buckboard that he restored, and did some research and found our name and contacted us. And the only challenge was that we had to go get it. And
with the horses or what?
Without the horses, no. I rented a truck and drove it from Glens Falls through Chicago to Minneapolis area, loaded the buckboard, which just fit into the back of the truck, and drove it back.
Well, there's dedication, Tim. I got to tell you,
it was an experience I'll remember.
Dedication. For any of you that have been to the museum, the buckboard's there. It's one of the centerpieces as you come into the museum.
It's a wonderful piece.
Oh my God, it really is. Anything else? Give me one more.
Oh, sure. Actually, something that came in just recently. We're always looking for things that can document more recent history. And one of our members, longtime member, contacted us, and she goes, I have this thing. I don't know whether you want it or not, but back in 1980, to support the Olympics in Lake Placid, they recruited a lot of local individuals to serve as volunteers to assist with all the production of this event. And so she was one of the people that they had recruited, and what she had had was her volunteer snow outfit. Because the Winter Olympics, you have to stay warm.
Sure.
So it's nice powder blue,
very
lots
80s.
of synthetic materials that we're worried about how long it might last. The
How about moon boots? Yeah, that's
yeah.
it. Sure.
All powder blue. From cap to boot, we have it all.
A designer ski suit and
Yes.
boots.
Oh, definitely design.
But
yes.
you're right about recent history. It's nice that the museum does travel from the late 1800s all the way through. Now, you picked this weekend to celebrate the 50th because it's also a big weekend in Glens Falls. We've talked to the people doing the Festival of Trees, and it's the hometown holiday weekend with all kinds of festivities going on. And you're doing something at the museum on Saturday, right?
Yes, and we're going to actually start Friday evening with an
Okay.
open house that's part of the hometown holiday celebration.
Great.
Where they have trolleys taking people around to various locations in Glens Falls. And that'll be from 6 to 8 o'clock in the evening. And then Saturday, which is our actual, when we're going to do the big 50th anniversary celebration, we have an open house from 10 to 4. And people will be able to come in and see our new exhibit called 50 at 50, which sort of highlights 50 objects from our collection that we selected to represent what we've collected over those 50 years. And our holiday themed house is decorated to represent 1912 Christmas.
Wow.
So people can come to the museum, it's free all day, and they can check out the house, and they can check out the exhibit. We'll have some events happening in that house as well. We have some junior docents that are going to be doing some theatrical vignettes, so people will be able to catch some live action while they're there as well. And then in the evening, we're having a special reception for our members and friends of the museum. Anybody can come, but it's sort of the peak of the day.
Well, you want to know something, Tim? I'm going to end where I started. Glens Falls has an amazing cultural center. And Tim, who's headed the Chapman Museum, is absolutely, that Chapman Museum is one of those locations. Now, over the weekend, Chapman is not on Glen Street. It's right off sort of the main drag, but they have trolleys that can take you there. And I highly encourage you to go see the museum. It doesn't cost anything. It's a wonderful look at the history of Glens Falls and the surrounding communities, including the powder blue snowsuit?
Snow outfit, yes. Volunteer uniform.
Volunteer uniform. And get an idea of some of the things that contributed to the wonderful history of Glens Falls. Well, Tim, it's always great to see you. Thank you for coming in. Good luck this weekend.
Well, thank you.
Are you going to wear the snowsuit?
Oh, no, no.
No. I'll see you over the weekend.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. To see this interview again, you can head to our website, looktvonline.com.